Walker. Kiki coming off of a career-high 25-point game against Minnesota.
Some of the longest tenured coaches in the Big Ten here today. Brenda Frese, her 24th season at the helm for the Terrapins. Corey Close, year 15, took this program to its first NCAA Final Four last year. High expectations this year, looking for ranked win number 7 already on the season against the Terrapins. It is UCLA basketball to begin this contest here in Westwood. Immediately backdoor cut, #1 team in assists in the nation, doing what they do.
And when we caught up with Corey Close, she said Gabriela Jaquez is an excellent cutter, and it was on display right there. Beautiful team basketball to open things up for the Bruins.
An unselfish team with 4 players averaging between 13 and 17 points per game. A lot of different weapons that Maryland is going to have to contend with defensively. They've got under 10 to shoot in the passing lane is Charlize Ledger-Walker. As we take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Yeah, these are two of the best defensive and rebounding teams, not only in the Big Ten, but nationwide. Very similar as you look at those opponent points per game, the rebounding margin, both top 5 in the country. So it's going to be a big day for the battle on the glass.
Sailor Poffenbarger, the Maryland native, gets her first bucket to fall in the mid-range.
And Maryland, they are known for this full court pressure, putting it on right away. Broken pretty easily there that time from UCLA.
The freshman Addie Mack trying to push the pace, thrust into the starting lineup with an injury to Leah Bartelma earlier this season. Post-up opportunity for the 6'3" Yarden Garzone, one of the best shooters in the country. She fades, cannot hit. Money done there for Maryland. Charlize Ledger-Walker orchestrating this offense, but it all revolves around 6'7" Lauren Betts, who kicks it out on her first touch. Deja vu on that play. The finish not there, though, for Gabriela Jaquez.
Yeah, you could see them looking early to Lauren Betts. She had a monster game in this matchup last season. A lot of new pieces on the floor for Maryland, but she put up 33 points in the lone meeting of last season, and Gabriela Jaquez didn't get that one to go, but she's been really active off the ball.
There's Lauren Betts. Can't get easier than that.
Lauren Betts, talk about moving without the ball. She is as mobile as you could be at 6'7", and she finds an opening on that one.
It wasn't just 33 points against this team last year. It was 14 of 15 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks. Here's UCLA off to the races, and Jaquez will lay it in transition.
Both of these teams, Sloan, will like to get up and push it. Kiki Rice, such a good orchestrator when she gets that ball to the middle of the floor in transition.
May, Ozzy Mamadou looking for the backdoor cut on this side. It's Addie Mack taking care of it.
Yeah, really nice 2-woman action. The freshman Addie Mack on that weak side just sneaking in.
The trailer, Jaquez, no good that time from distance. The offensive rebound keeping it here. Ledger-Walker lets it fly and drains the triple.
And we had just seen those rebounding numbers. These two teams amongst the best in the country. Not enough box outs early on for Maryland.
Garzone again, back to the basket. She'll go set a screen for Poffenbarger. The pick, the slip. And UCLA, their defense was ready for it.
And this is a UCLA team that can be a little streaky shooting from deep, but that time Charlize Ledger-Walker, and that was on the offensive rebound. So that's why boxing out, trying to end a possession with a rebound, really important for both teams in this game.
Ledger-Walker 34% from distance this season. Here is Mack trying to make something happen for this offense, setting up Garzone with a great look. Long rebound, and UCLA sprinting down the floor again. Gianna Neepkins with the tough finish.
Maryland just asleep at the wheel to start this transition defense. That was not much resistance at all. Neepkins just drove right up the middle of the lane.
What a denial. Lauren Betts with a punishing denial. Quickly the other way. Betts draws the double team. Jaquez weaving through the congestion. Here is Rice for 3. What effort by Ledger-Walker keeping it here, but Rice can't quite rein it in.
Lauren Betts has really been playing well in Big Ten Conference play. And you just see the size advantage here, just trailing Ozzy Mamadou across that lane. and a couple inches, about 4 to be exact. Ozzy Mamadou 6'3", so she's going to have to be a little bit cautious of when she's going up for her attempts.
Betts in Big Ten play, 2.7 blocks per game. That shot no good from Kendall Walker, making an early entrance into this contest. But something Coach Brenda Fries has talked about this season, we want to be the team that punches first. They've been on their heels the first couple minutes of this one against the Bruins.
Yeah, and that was something that UCLA dealt with earlier in the season when they dropped an early season game to Texas. They were off to a slow start, so that's something that they have worked on over the last couple of months.
Coach Close says, I'm actually glad we lost a game that early in the season as opposed to deep January and February. It taught us a lot early on. Here's Angela Dugalich, a potential Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year, getting her own mess. Neepkins keeps the foot off the ground, but can't drain the triple.
Maryland getting lucky on some of these possessions. The offensive rebounds piling up early for UCLA.
Maryland back on the offensive end. 2 of 6 shooting to begin this contest. Poffenbarger had the first bucket. And the rebound snared by Ledger Walker. Dugalich, tremendous around the perimeter. The lob inside to Betts, an easy lay-in for Lauren Betts. A 7-0 run for the Bruins.
And Lauren Betts dictated that entire sequence by how hard she sprinted the floor, how much effort she put in to getting her position.
A response there by the Maryland Terrapins by Mack. 13-6 is the Bruins lead. Midway point of this first quarter. Again, slipping the screen. Dugalich wide open. Ledger Walker off targets. Poffenbarger, the head fake. And she will get to the cup on a strong maneuver.
And that's going to be the best recipe for offense today for Maryland, is trying to get that rebound, force a turnover, get out and push pace against this UCLA defense that could be really strong in the half court.
Look at Mack trying to break things up at midcourt. It's a jump ball. Possession arrow going the other way.
How intense this season is, and remember the friendship and sisterhood they already have. Sloan.
Thanks, Kaylee. Of course, all of us living vicariously through those social media posts, but a great example of the perspective of Coach Fries for a long season. Here's Garzone, and we'll see if the Terrapins can get that motor revving here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Brenda Fries has to love that attempt from Garzone, because she only took 6 shots in their win against USC. She had to sit her down a little bit and say, I know you like to make the read and make the play, but we need you to score.
7-0 Maryland run. The reverse just trickles through for Hawkins.
Hawkins, such a versatile scorer. Her 3-ball hasn't been falling quite as well as it had earlier in the season, but she can attack off that bounce as well.
Look at Kiki Wright skying for that one-handed rebound. Such a versatile all-around player here for the UCLA Bruins, her senior season, and a Maryland native just outside the D.C. area.
Yeah, Kiki putting up career-high numbers on the glass. 6 rebounds a game this year from the guard spot.
Forcing that back door, it goes out of bounds, and Maryland now within 4, 15-11. They trailed by as many as 9 points. They've battled back in this first frame.
Yeah, I mean, the main problem in those opening couple of minutes was the lack of attention on the defensive rebounding. UCLA started this game with 4 offensive rebounds and got 5 second chance points off of them. So let's see if the Terps adjust on that. And they're one of the top rebounding teams in the country as well.
Deep 3 for Poffenbarger, just grazes rim. Offensive rebound. Walker finds a slicing Poffenbarger for 2.
This is a Maryland team with a lot of offensive weapons as well. Poffenbarger, really the solid rock of this team.
Gianna Neepkins drains it from long range. One of the best shooters in the country. 46% on nearly 100 attempts.
And that is the danger, the trouble of trying to defend this UCLA team, because they have 12 points in the paint, but then they have plenty of offensive weapons behind the arc as well.
Wild take from Walker. It'll be a turnover for the Maryland Terrapins.
Gianna Neepkins shooting 45% from distance this season. With a number like that, you cannot allow her the ease to catch the ball, the slow closeout. She has to be a player that you are containing at all times on the 3-point line.
Out of Duluth, Minnesota, her mother Betsy in the stands here at Pauley Pavilion, goes to every one of her games, referees basketball games for extra funds for travel to see her daughter play.
Your new friend in the airport yesterday.
Flying out of MSP. It's going to be a turnover for the UCLA Bruins, and back to Maryland. Maryland already shorthanded this season with 4 season-ending injuries. They're also without a key role player off the bench. The freshman from Wisconsin, Rainey Welson, out today with a concussion. Played just 2 minutes against USC before she took a hard spill. So especially shorthanded is the Terrapins against the number 3 ranked team in the country. As Neepkins in the passing lane tying it up, and it'll be Bruins basketball.
Gianna Neepkins, always an elite offensive player in her time at Utah, but Corey Close said she's really been working on becoming better on the defensive end of the floor. She has aspirations of playing at the WNBA, as pretty much every UCLA player on the floor does. But you see that effort right there, getting in that passing lane.
Sienna Betts, the highly touted freshman, into the game for the first time. Duga Leach lofts the shot, and she cans it.
Corey Close is just raving about the impact of 6'4" Duga Leach, who is in the running for Big Ten 6th Player of the Year, 6'4", to come in off the bench and stretch the floor like that.
They switch 1 through 4 because of her kind of versatility. The rebuttal, though, on the other side for the Maryland Terrapins, badly needed for Lucia Konawa. She's a 29% shooter from 3 this year. Here is Neepkins, too much time, halfway down and out, but a dangerous opportunity allowed by Maryland. Under 1:30 to go in this entertaining first quarter. Offenbarger blitzed along the 3-point line. She's going to retreat. And again, UCLA will switch. Konawa facing stout defense here against the UCLA Bruins. Finds no breathing room, under 5 to shoot. Garzone also bottled up, gets the shot off though. Offensive rebound, Konawa, whose motor doesn't stop. She'll be shooting 2.
Yeah, UCLA had put the clamps on the perimeter defense, not allowing any penetration, but Lucia Konawa, she is all gas, no brakes. Any time on the floor, one of the smallest players on the floor, skying in there for that O board. She is the player that can really get the intensity up for these Terps.
We knew about how she played at Duke. One of the toughest defenders in the nation, came to Maryland wanting to unlock her offensive potential. Had a 7-point game most recently against USC, but 9 games before that was averaging 21 points per game, 53% shooting. You mentioned the rebounding, 6 rebounds per game in that stretch as well.
Yeah, Brenda Free's system is just such a perfect fit for Alucci because of her speed. She's the head of that 1-2-2 full court press that they've pulled back at the moment. But it's been a really good fit for her as a player who just likes to get up and go.
Duga Leach will swing. A foul inside is going to go on Ozzy Mamadou, who has to try and stand her ground against Lauren Betts in the post. The hard assignment for anyone in the country.
Yeah, and just seeing them standing side by side, you can see that she's giving up about 4 inches. So Maryland has to be ready to defend Betts as a team. Brenda Freese talked to us about a lot of it coming from the guards on the perimeter, taking away the vision of the passes coming into her.
And we'll see different kind of looks. Player to player, zone, full court press, and knots. They want to throw everything at this UCLA team, number 1 in the nation in offensive rating. Ledger Walker lets it fly. Whistle with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
Ledger Walker has had a bunch of open looks from deep in this game. Has knocked down 1 so far, but UCLA has the 3-point looks. They haven't knocked them down at quite a high rate yet, 3 of 9.
So that'll send Ledger Walker to the free throw line. That last foul on Kendall Walker. And 3 free throws coming up here for the native of New Zealand. You see the numbers there for UCLA. Those are national ranks about how efficient they are and how high potent this offense is.
Yeah, I love the assist number. 3rd in the country, almost 22 a game. And that just shows how unselfish this group is, because this is a UCLA team that is likely going to have 6 players drafted into the WNBA this spring, and they don't care who has the big night. It'll be someone on a given night. All 6 of those top scorers have had a 20-plus point game this season.
Ripping it away, Kiki Rice threads it inside, leaves it for Ledger Walker, and they get another triple.
There it goes that time. Yeah, Ledger Walker, they have not been paying much attention to her on the three-point line. So after getting those free throws, multi-point possession for her.
Shot clock is off for the Terrapins, trying to eat into this deficit with the final shot. Mack tries to go one-on-one. Brianna Williams strokes a three. The rebound taken down by Ledger Walker. She glances up. She'll heave it beyond half court. What an attempt that was, about 10
I thought
feet.
it was going in.
Giving them a second to check. It's Maryland.
Ooh.
You gotta give people a chance to answer.
For a second.
Oh no, I wanted to give folks a chance to answer the trivia question. Slicing her way into the paint, Yarden Gearzone snatching up the loose ball as Lucia Conowa, but she's swallowed up inside. Loose ball up for grabs. It's gonna stay right here, but we're seeing a lot of hustle on the glass between these excellent rebounding teams.
Yeah, I think Maryland has really responded after a little bit of a slower start to the game. After that first time out, they came out with a renewed sense of energy. But they're going to have to make some defensive adjustments because UCLA is getting a good balance in the paint and from the three-point line in this game.
Under 10 to shoot for the Terrapins. Had the 17 points in that first quarter. A long two for Addie Mack. Coach Freeze says she plays fearlessly.
And that was over the outstretched hand of Lauren Betts, who was coming out to contest that. Addie Mack, a big-time scorer from Minneapolis, your current home.
That's right. Saw a lot of her in high school. Nearly 4,700 points for her before coming to Maryland. That's going to be a travel. And a UCLA turnover.
Addie Mack really stepped into a bigger role than expected this season with all of those injuries you mentioned to the Terrapins. And that is a confident freshman point guard right there. No fear against 6'7" Lauren Betts on the closeout.
And Kim, she was not the most hugely touted recruit, was not a top 100 recruit, but Coach Freeze saw something in her and how she would fit into this program, and boy, it's paying dividends. Brianna Williams on the take, and she is fouled. That going on Rice. And that'll be her first.
You see Maryland getting into some ball screen action. UCLA right now is switching from 1 to 5. Lauren Betts switched that ball screen.
Coach Close says her lateral movement at 6'7" is remarkable. Williams bails out of Conowa, can't drain the mid-range. And that rebound corralled by Ledger Walker. Sienna Betts decides against it, finds Kiki Rice. Big strides to the rim for a tough finish.
And that's Kiki Rice's first bucket of the game. We mentioned, a block on the other end for Kiki.
A ferocious block by Rice on that end. Now the ball back in her hands. Sienna Betts calling for it inside. Thought she had the angle against 6'3" Gearzone. And now Rice is going to reestablish this offense with Hawkins. 8 to shoot, Lauren Betts. Big sister, little sister, inside, outside, and a foul on the floor. Or travel, rather, on Betts inside.
Kiki Rice coming off of a career-high 25-point game in her last outing. And just the explosive step on the rip-through and drive. How about this defense from Rice? Just gobbling up a Conowa. Such a talented player on both ends of the floor, who, as we said, has been here her entire career with Coach Corey Close.
Deep three for Poffenbarger on the way and good. She's got 9 points here in the first half.
Poffenbarger, her scoring's been down the last couple of games, so that's a good one to maybe try to get the confidence back for her. They need her to stay aggressive and looking for her shots.
An important leader and voice on this team is Poffenbarger. Touch inside, Lauren Betts drops it off, looking for Sienna. It's broken up by the Terrapins.
Good
pushing
sister,
the pace.
Good sister idea, but good rotation over from Maryland.
And Mack is fouled as she was accelerating toward the rim. That's going to go on Neepkins. UCLA leading by 5, 27-22. That poked away off the baseline inbounds. The Terrapins only 2 losses this season. They were undefeated in the non-conference. They've lost to Illinois and Ohio State in Big Ten play.
It's remarkable the start that they have had despite all of those injuries to key players and players they expected to start.
Poffenbarger, the pick and pop again from deep. Not that time. And Rice puts her foot on the gas. Skip pass to Neepkins. So much ball movement for the Bruins. Here's Ledger Walker for three. She's got it.
Maryland has been mixing in some zone, and unfortunately they have just not been rotating and closing out quick enough on the three-point shots. That's the fourth triple for UCLA, a couple from Ledger Walker. Or sorry, that's the fifth.
The fake handoff and the drive by Brianna Williams, who's seen her playing time increase too off the bench for the Terrapins.
Yeah, they could certainly use her efforts here in the post to help be physical against Lauren Betts. There's the matchup right there.
Guarding her, using that arm bar into the back of Betts. She tries the drop step, and she's fouled when the help defense comes to rescue her.
Yeah, Maryland gets the foul call, but I liked that initiative to send the guard in quickly. Walker was trying to get her hands on the ball. But Lauren Betts with her patience here. I didn't see too much there on that foul call.
It's going to be the second on Kendall Walker for the Terrapins. Let's check in with Kaylee, sideline.
Well, Sloan, you mentioned it's a family affair here at UCLA with Lauren and Sienna Betts on the team. Their mom says now it's the best they've gotten along in years, but it took a little convincing. Sienna actually cried when Lauren committed to UCLA. She did not want to follow her sister, but Lauren pulled out the stop. She made a PowerPoint to show why it's a good idea, and it certainly helps. Lauren's helping Sienna through tough practices and learning plays. Their bond clearly strong on the floor. On a past road trip, a young player at Nebraska gave them a painting. She painted of them, and Lauren called the exchange special, an example of how they're influencing young players across the country.
Thanks, Kaylee. Lucia Konawa on the putback. But as Coach Close said, and Kaylee talked about, to see their relationship continue to grow on the court and off has been it's really rewarding for their family and for this program.
Yeah, and it'll be their only year playing here together as Neepkins off the glass. Lauren will be on to the pros, but I think it's something they maybe will respect and appreciate later in life.
Quick pace, this game turning into a track meet between these two. Rice darts right into the paint, an acrobatic attempt. And a whistle is going to keep it right here. This is the photo that Kaylee was mentioning by a Nebraska fan. And they said after the game, we don't expect to go into Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln and find fans of our program and our team and ourselves. And what a great feeling that is, the appreciation they have for the kind of basketball they play. Here's Neepkins draining another largest lead of the game for the Bruins at 10.
And what a great feeling for Corey Close to have Gianna Neepkins in a Bruins jersey. That is the sixth triple for UCLA in this game. They're 50% from deep.
Neepkins with 10 points, second Bruin in double figures. She's 2 for 4 from deep. That's calling for it, getting fronted in the post by Ozzy Mamadou. Off the curl. And snatched away along the baseline by Akanawa. She is sneaky and fast on the defensive end. Mack slices her way through, looking for Ozzy Mamadou. She's in a tough spot. The reverse can't quite get the angle. And it will stay Maryland basketball. Winkles is remarkable.
Yeah, they have had tremendous ball movement, making the extra pass, unselfish play, and great scoring balance as well. Both Ledger Walker and Neepkins, their first year playing for the Bruins, they are already into double figures in this one.
And Kim, a big reason why they're shooting 58% as a team for this game. They're also hitting the glass at a great rate. Here's Ledger Walker directing traffic, leaving it for the trailer in Dugalich. She is a strong three-point shooter as well at 6'4". Looking through Betts at the high post. Neepkins all by herself. She's not going to miss that one.
I mean, that's a lack of awareness. Gianna Neepkins has already knocked down multiple threes in this game. She's one of the best shooters in the country, and you stay under the screen on her. I mean, she had all the time in the world to get that shot off.
UCLA started 1 of 5 from beyond the arc. They are since 6 for 8. There's Addie Mack. And another defensive rebound for UCLA. Dugalich tries to throw it inside to Betts, and just out of her range.
Gianna Neepkins shooting 45% from deep on the season. Just a miscommunication. A couple of Terps get mixed up, put their back to the ball, and Gianna Neepkins says, I'm not used to having an open three. I'm just going to drain this like I'm in practice right now.
It almost seemed like she hesitated. She had to process that they went underneath the screen on her.
Without a doubt.
Betts battling Ozzy Mamadou in the post. Lucia Kanawa takes off and finishes at the rim.
That is extreme explosion from Akanawa, just navigating her way through the paint and around Lauren Betts to get that finish.
Leading this team in scoring, 16.8 points per game. We'll check in with Kaylee, who was listening in that last huddle.
Yes, Sloan, in that huddle, Coach Close clearly pleased with their ball movement, but wants the ball to start through the post. She said we need to be looking at Lauren Betts, and we have to talk through the post as well. There was also an emphasis on the board. She wants them to remain aggressive, not to give Maryland those second chance opportunities.
There's Neepkins along the baseline. And an interesting observation from Close, where it feels like UCLA is getting a lot of things that it wants, but she wants them to clamp down even more.
Yeah, that may explain that errant pass they had, just trying to sail it in over the top. So the intention was there. And careless turnovers, actually something that Corey Close has been working on with her group. They actually already have 10 today. Am I reading that right?
10 today. They
That's insane.
average under 13 per game. But you're right, Kim. The last 3 games, nearly 17 per contest. And Coach Close said, we're being too casual. Everyone needs to tighten up. I don't want them to be hesitant, but we have to be smarter with the basketball. One and done again for the Maryland Terrapins, although they're even up at 7 offensive rebounds apiece. There's Hawkins being guarded by Ozzy Mamadou. Takes her one way and then another, forcing the issue. And that's going to stay here with the Bruins. UCLA's led by as many as 13. They are 6-1 against ranked opponents this season. Here's Rice against one of the best defenders in the Big Ten, and Akanawa finds itself inside to Betts. She willingly kicks it out and gets herself an assist. 8 threes in the first half for the Bruins.
And Gabriela Hawkes was 0 for 9 from deep in her last 4 games. So that has to be a little bit of a sigh of relief for her. She shot the ball really well from deep throughout the season.
Having a by far career year when it comes to her efficiency, as Ozzy Mamadou is able to flip it up and in inside. Betts directing traffic. She knew exactly where she wanted the ball, but brought it down a little too low. It's a jump ball.
Yeah, I really like the intention of Lauren Betts directing her guards where to enter. But shout out to Addie Mack, the freshman guard, at basically almost a foot shorter than Lauren Betts, 5'9", coming in on that back side. Lauren Betts brought the ball down to her level.
21 on the clock for Ledger Walker to bring it in. Ledger Walker again has a great look from distance. Neepkins, the offensive rebound, keeps it alive. Ledger Walker right back and takes care of it.
Did you see the no-look pass from Neepkins? She faked a lot of people out. And Ledger Walker having a dynamite game. She's now 4 of 7 from deep in this first half.
13 points, 6 rebounds as well. But the rebuttal right back by the Terrapins. And Lucia Kanawa's got a couple 3 balls.
Now Maryland, they need to get back to trying to be more disruptive on this end of the floor. They're a team that forces 20 turnovers per game. They're turning UCLA over, but just giving them too many open looks from the perimeter. Here's another.
Just missed that time, left it short. The offensive putback then is there for Gabriela Hawkins.
A lot of second chance points as well for UCLA here in the first half. A lot of things going their way.
Already 3 in double figures for the Bruins. Here's Maria Boyko draining the mid-range with the help from the friendly rim.
Yeah, Boyko able to pull Lauren Betts off of that block out of the paint, which she's comfortable doing, but had a little bit of separation there to get the shot off.
Freshman from Belarus facing a tough assignment. One of the best players in the country in Betts. Less 3-second difference shot in game clock to close out the first half here in Westwood. Look at the activity of Okonowa guarding on ball, but there's a whistle away from it.
Foul called on Maryland. I'm kind of with Brenda Fries, who was calling for a moving screen on Gianna Neepkins. I thought Neepkins really extended those arms out. That's why Brenda Fries is in deep conversation with the official right now.
That foul is going on Boyko, her first. 7 seconds to shoot. Rice will retreat. 3 seconds left, one-on-one against Okonowa, not giving her an inch. And that is how the first half will end. 47-35, the Bruins lead over Maryland.
Really good defensive stance there from Maryland.
Up trying to guard Betts. They're going to give up the mid-range to Betts. She's shooting 46% from there this season. Repost though. Betts back it down, Ozzy Mamadou. And another whistle. That's going to go on Ozzy Mamadou. That's 3 now.
And yeah, you can see her frustration. She's doing all she can to battle in that matchup, giving up 4 inches, but she's going to have to head to the bench with those 3 fouls. As we look at this, there's the one-on-one coverage that Kaylee mentioned. I mean, yeah, that was a foul before the dribble. I don't know when they called it, but she clearly had her hands on Betts before she even went into the move.
Neepkins threads it inside to Betts, who fumbles it and recovers inside. Mack weaving her way through. She's fouled. That's going to go on Hawkes. They thought they were stealing that away from the freshman. That'll be the first on Hawkes. 3 steals apiece for these teams defensively. Garzone and Neepkins, some of the sharpest shooters you'll see in the nation guarding each other in this matchup. Okonowa, bright spot offensively. Boyko will travel. Or a 3-second violation, rather. UCLA basketball regardless.
That was a pretty quick 3. That was like maybe 2.99. She was just about to get that pass off. Not a lot of leeway here out in LA.
Coming in for the Terrapins, Brianna Williams. Saw her guarding Betts in the first half. Betts only shot the ball twice in the first frame. Rice, she's slowed up and fouled. That's going to go on Garzone. That's her first. (51-35) UCLA with the lead, looking for their 7th ranked win this season. Their only loss on the year to number 2 Texas. Neepkins had that partially blocked. Betts still tries to snatch it out of the air. And it will be a jump ball staying on this side of the floor.
And that was better defense from Maryland than we saw in the first half when UCLA was just getting open 3 after open 3. That time it was Poffenbarger trailing around, chasing Neepkins and getting her hand on that attempt.
11 to shoot for the Bruins. Getting downhill is Betts. Loves to finish through contact. Can't quite get it that time. Kendall Walker slices her way through the front court. Short corner shot, Williams gets her own miss. Garzone immediately swarmed by Rice. But she's still gonna put up the deep 3 and leaves it short. It's gonna stay here as Garzone falls to 1 of 8 shooting.
Yeah, tough night so far, and she's seeing different looks defensively. She's seeing different length. Kiki Rice has really been dialed in, but she has to continue to mix things up. They mentioned posting her up maybe as something they want to do more of. That may be a look they want to get into.
Here's Garzone still looking to get it going. Now 1 for 9, and here's Ledger Walker. Yet another rebound. That is now 7, and she'll go coast to coast. Coach Freeze calls calls a timeout as UCLA back here at Pauley Pavilion. Number 3, UCLA leading 53-35. They have exploded here in the third quarter. A 6-0 lead, but holding the Terrapins to 0 for 7 shooting in these first couple minutes.
Yeah, that Bruin defense is serious, really in the half court. Just everybody locks in on their individual matchup. They communicate, as we're seeing here. They basically switch everything on the floor.
Strong take by Sailor Poffenbarger, who was strong in the first quarter, and they'll need more production from her too.
Yeah, Maryland has to be really disciplined offensively in what they're running because of how good UCLA has been and connected on that end of the floor.
Betts gets the friendly roll for the mid-range to fall, a place where she's increased her productivity this season.
Yeah, Lauren Betts has that range. She's taken a couple in this game. That was the first one to go down, but she's very comfortable from that elbow area.
Brianna Williams is stifled again by Betts. Racing out ahead is Hawkes. The fade along the baseline, beautiful by the Bruins.
And Lauren Betts should almost get an honorary assist for that play because it's her block that really allows UCLA to get out and run and get that bucket.
Okonowa leaps into the paint. Everything is swarming, but that time she earns the whistle with her efforts.
Kiki Rice, she's only credited with 1 block in this game. I thought she had at least 2, but she was going for another one here. But Okonowa has really been taking it to her. Yeah, I think she got her in the face a little bit there. Okonowa has been really persistent in getting to her spots.
That's the second personal on Rice. Here in the midway point of this third quarter, Okonowa good on the first. This is some of the women's basketball you'll be seeing your way on Peacock. Some Big East, some Big Ten, Iowa, Maryland. That one certainly catches my eye. And how about UConn taking on Seton Hall, coming off a 49-point win over Villanova, a team right behind them in the Big East standings.
Yeah, UConn has just been rolling. And then that Ohio State-Iowa matchup going to be really good. Had the chance to see Jelani Cambridge recently. She's been putting up huge numbers. And then Iowa, the other undefeated team in the Big Ten, along with these UCLA Bruins.
Hawkes slices into the paint. Now 10 on the clock for UCLA. 57-38 is their lead. Hawkes looking inside to Sienna Betts. And that's going to be a foul on the freshman.
So there was a lot of activity down there for the entire possession. I think the officials maybe let it go on too long. I mean, there could have been 7 fouls called in that 20-second stretch. I was watching Betts, Sienna Betts, she was battling with Okonowa, the guard who was down there. Those two were grabbing and clawing at each other. A double foul could have been called, honestly.
But if there's anyone who's going to fight in a mismatch like that, it's Aluchi Okonowa. Garzone has had a hand on her face all afternoon, and she's fouled as she tried to drive along the baseline.
A few of the players got to go and get the VIP treatment, so she's ahead of the game, thinking about life off the court ball. We still expect her to have many more years on the court as well.
She is certainly a high achiever, taking advantage of those opportunities here at UCLA. But Coach Close even said, I grew up in Northern California. I'm a 49ers fan, but because of McVay, I'm a Rams fan. Because of his philosophy, how he coaches, there's a lot of connection between those two.
Yeah, and Corey Close has spoken so highly of the different opportunities that her student athletes are exposed to here at UCLA. They've taken advantage of them. We see that young lady right there who's been on fire on the court, but she's got a career in media off the court. You got to check out some of her YouTube videos. She's teaching Gianna Neekins how to dance.
She's also hosting their Queen of the Court series, a one-on-one tournament. And she certainly has a special talent. Her YouTube page, too, where she has documented her comeback from a season-ending injury. She has some fun as well, a great personality. And that foul is going to go on Sienna Betts. That will be her second.
Coach Close not happy with some of these physicality calls being called in the post. There's a lot of jostling going on. Refs have to keep an eye on that.
And that's especially hard to adjust to as a freshman post player, that physicality, but how games are being refereed. 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. Maryland shooting 35% for this game, have not quite found their stride offensively throughout. Kendall Walker looking to bail out her team. That was a well-defended shot, and Neepkins snares the rebound. Neepkins turning on the Jets. Ledger Walker fires it inside. Sienna Betts with an easy finish. The ball movement exquisite for the Bruins.
Yeah, that was set up by two really good passes. The cross-court pass from Neepkins, and then Ledger Walker just firing that ball right into Sienna Betts, who's really trying to find that consistency in her freshman season.
Connell fouled as she flies to the rim. That's going to be 3 now on Rice.
Now 19 assists for UCLA. Good patience from Neepkins, looks opposite. Ledger Walker draws 2 on the closeout and quickly fires it in to Sienna Betts for her first bucket of the afternoon. Now every UCLA Bruin that has played today has scored. That balance is on display.
3 in double figures as well, with Hawkes, Neepkins, and Ledger Walker. And you mentioned Ledger Walker, her impact on that play. She's used to being the leading scorer on a team, what she was at Washington State. Her number's lower than what we've expected in the past, but she says, look who's around me. Why would I not take advantage of the teammates I have, the talent I'm surrounded by?
Yeah, she has really settled into that distributing point guard, averaging 6 assists per game for this Bruins team. But as we've seen today, and you mentioned, she first and foremost was always a scorer.
Hawkes, a great look at a 3, and she drains it. 10 threes today for UCLA.
Multiple players have gotten involved from deep. I believe it is 4 different Bruins have hit a triple in this game.
Poffenbarger facing up against Dugalich, almost stripped by Neepkins. Strong take by Walker, gets everything but the finish. And Ledger Walker corrals the rebound. That's now 9 rebounds. 1 shy of a double-double. Oh, what about that pass? Ledger Walker looks like she's just having fun out there with that dish.
Yeah, what an exciting player to watch. She is a native of New Zealand. If you go back to some of those videos, hear the accent. She's been everywhere this afternoon. We know she's hitting from 3. Just look at that pace, getting up to the middle of the floor, keeping her eyes up. And then Sienna Betts having some nice moments in this game. Corey Close talked to us about just working with Sienna. She's been a little inconsistent. She'll have a single-digit scoring game, then a double-digit scoring game, but she's going through the trials and tribulations that most freshmen do. And we can't forget she missed the first 10 weeks of the season. She's only been on the floor for about a month.
Coach Close says, especially for post players, there are habits they have to unlearn and reverse, things they got away with because of their size, their physicality, that now she wants to try and rid them of. And Betts is going through that journey too, but she'll grab a member of the coaching staff, get an early workout in. She's not shying away from that kind of hard work. Addie Mack will kiss it off glass. A confident take by the freshman.
She has had some tough finishes in this game. That was pretty well defended by 2 players on UCLA. Betts coming over from the weak side, but Mack has just floated it in over the top and off the glass.
Hawkes, the extra pass. Neepkins wide open, splashing it home from 3.
And that's just tough because Maryland switched it up back to that zone defense without Lauren Betts in the game, drawing that attention in the middle, and UCLA still makes them pay with their 11th triple of the afternoon.
Ledger Walker lobbing it down low. And Neepkins gets it out to reset to Ledger Walker. UCLA's offense has deposited 11 threes this afternoon. Now 8 to shoot. Ledger Walker gets downhill. Sienna Betts trying to hold off Garzone.
Yeah, Sienna Betts staying active in that play, drawing the foul. They'll keep the possession here.
A foul is going to go on Garzone, her second.
Well, she'll get free throws now because that puts Maryland in the bonus.
Both teams in the bonus now with 1:35 to play, a 68-43 lead for the number 3 team in the country. UCLA came into this game leading the Big Ten in scoring margin. They're beating Big Ten teams by 23 points per game, but something Coach Close has talked about recently, even with this 10-game win streak, we want to continue to be very aggressive, and especially on defense. She says there's a difference between working hard and being competitive and trying to light that fire under her team, where they want to go eventually.
Yeah, she has continued to hold this team accountable. Dugalich, nice up and under the rim. Brenda Fries needs to regroup with her team. The defensive effort and defense is what this Maryland team has really prided themselves on all season long, and it's just been a lot of easy opportunities for UCLA this afternoon.
And that's something Coach Fries is really liking about her team this year. In the past, they were a group that wanted to score 87 points per game and just throttle teams, but they've really taken on this defensive identity. They're first in the Big Ten in opponent field goal percentage, for example, but UCLA, you're talking about one of the best offenses, perhaps the best offense in the country.
I mean, the number that's crazy right now is Maryland allows only 56 points per game, and UCLA is already significantly over that number, and we have not even entered the fourth quarter yet.
Free throws here for Walker, and she's good on the first. That's 3 personals, by the way, on Meepkins of the Bruins. Meepkins today, 16 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 4 threes. Poffenbarger going to check back in for the Terrapins, coming in for Addie Mack. And Maryland's going to bring a little backcourt pressure.
Yeah, we haven't seen this nearly as often as they typically do against teams. They're typically up in a 1-2-2 press the entire game, but UCLA has just been so good at getting through it.
Kiki Rice just bursts through, and that's going to be a traveling violation. Too quick at the ball for her own good there. 50 seconds to go.
Those are maybe some of the turnovers that Coach Close will live with as they're trying to cut back on those as of late.
Akanawa slices through. Another block for Lauren Betts. She has dominated the paint. That is 5 through 3 quarters.
Her positioning and awareness on the shot blocking, just moving, roaming that paint area to perfectly time those blocks is special.
The hands, also special for Lauren Betts as she finishes.
That's funny you say that. I was looking at her press conference recently. I was like, oh my gosh, she's got really long fingers. That's why she's able to corral in so many of those passes.
And it's harder than it looks. When you get that much attention to handle that as a post player, she does it with aplomb. 3 seconds, difficult shot. Poffenbarger drains it in the closing seconds of the third quarter, but we head to the fourth. 73-4.
Numbers in conference play, averaging a double-double. The block numbers are up, and her scoring a little lower today because of the balance. She's one of 4 Bruins in double figures, but 5 blocks on the defensive end.
Something Coach Close has said about Lauren this season, coaching such a phenomenal talent, is that she just wants to keep her present and in the moment and having fun. That Betts puts a lot of pressure on herself, thinking, what about this game or this performance? How is it going to affect my future? Thinking about the draft. And she said, just want you having fun out there, being with your teammates. Dugalich splashes home a 3, and UCLA has combined for 12 today.
Such a dangerous team. I mean, we've seen them score from everywhere on the floor tonight, and when that 3 ball is really dropping like that, there's only so much you can take away with this team.
It's going to be 4 on Meepkins, it looks like.
Angela Dugalich, a player that Coach Corey Close really brought up to us as someone she wants to highlight. She doesn't think she gets enough shine or appreciation for what she comes in and does off the bench. This UCLA team really has 6 players who could start, and Dugalich, really selfless, just wants to come in and make an impact and know that she can be trusted at the end of the game even if she's not starting off.
That's exactly what she said to Coach Close in a one-on-one meeting with her. I will do what is asked of me, but I want to be trusted in the critical moments. Here was Garzone, no good from 3. It just has not fallen for one of the best in the country today. Now 1 of 7 from deep. Look at that take. Gabriela Hawkes soaring to the rim for 2.
That's 15 points for her. It seems like a quiet 18, but I think that's because they're just sharing the ball so well in this game. 4 Bruins in double figures.
Garzone lines up another. That time gets it to fall. Her second today. She had been 1 of 10 overall in this contest.
Yeah, Garzone in Big Ten games is making 3 threes per game at just about 49%. So it's just been an off night for her, but she's trying to keep looking for those shots.
Garzone's going to pick up her third.
Gabriela Jaquez, 18 points on 8 of 10 shooting. She's had success just finding those driving lanes on either side of this game. Talk about a player who has really improved this season. She too is getting a lot of looks at the WNBA level.
Off the fake handoff, Dugalich accelerates to the rim, but Amanda Muse there to clean up on the offensive glass.
I've been impressed when I watch film of Amanda Muse. I think she's a really key piece on the defensive end when they're trying to give Lauren Betts a little breather. She's physical inside.
She was McDonald's All-American in high school from really close by the UCLA campus, the neighborhood of Brentwood here in Los Angeles. And she plays an important role off the bench. Here's Akanawa underneath the defense. She gets to the rim. 16 points now for the transfer from Duke.
Akanawa really likes curling off across the lane, getting to that right side.
Roger Walker giving a look inside. Goes out of bounds, and we'll stay right here. Brianna Williams returning to the game for Aussie Mamadou.
We've got the wave going on in Pauley Pavilion. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Kim, are you gonna? It's coming around.
I mean, I don't want to miss out. I don't want to get called out.
Gabriela Jaquez again as the wave crests over us here in the booth. 20 points now for Gabriela Jaquez and a block inside. UCLA has dominated protecting the rim. Ooh. Unreal take by Kiki Rice, who is unstoppable today.
Hey.
84
is this team when they're knocking down threes at that high of a percentage.
It is the ultimate pick your poison team with how well they shoot the basketball, spreading the floor. The inside presence is unmatched with Lauren Betts. That's why they're so formidable, looking to go to back-to-back Final Fours and more. Bouncing into the paint, another block. Amanda Muse has been terrific off the bench for the Bruins.
She is really sound defensively, way ahead of what you think a freshman or a sophomore would know, redshirt sophomore, but hasn't played many minutes in her career.
Rice trying to dish it off, took some contact. Whipping the pass inside, Muse leaves it short. Flying in for that rebound is Mack. Mack still accelerating. Hoffenbarger barrels through the lane, and she is fouled. Well, it was only a 12-point game at the half, and UCLA has exploded in this second half as we look at this last foul.
Hoffenbarger just trying to keep her team's motor going. She's actually the only available player for Maryland right now that's healthy, that started a game for the Terps last season. So her second year in Maryland, Coach Freeze said she's really been the rock for this team, keeping them together like a family. And you could see with how she's trying to continue leading her team on the floor.
That ball goes out of bounds. And back to the Terrapins.
Yeah, Maryland putting on that full court pressure. It is their 14th turnover force. They force 20 per game. They had a bunch forced in the first half. I think UCLA adjusted well and have taken better care of the ball here in the second.
Okay, you were just talking about Sailor Hoffenbarger, and Kaylee has more on the Maryland native
Yeah, Sloan Saylor is who Coach Freeze calls the heart of this Terps team. She grew up in Middletown, Maryland, attending Maryland basketball camp. She wanted to commit to the Terps as a 7th grader, but her mom told her to wait a few years and feel it out. So she started her college career at UConn, spent 2 seasons at Arkansas before coming back to Maryland. And Papa Barker has said coming back here has been a full circle moment. I wish I could say that I came here from the beginning, but I think that everything happens for a reason. I was supposed to experience certain things that made me a better player. Coach Freeze told us pregame, Saylor is that leader, the glue, the connector. She's a big sister to everyone on the court and off the court. She's just very aware of people and relationships, and there's no doubt on the court how she connects us all, guys.
Thanks, Kaylee. So important to this Maryland team, ranked 12th in the country. And still battling here. You saw a couple of back-to-back putbacks for Lucia Kanawa, who does not ever back down. She's got 20 points to lead the Terps. Ledger Walker, a ludicrous pass inside, and UCLA all smiles on the offensive end.
Ooh, that one is going to be at the top of the highlight reel. The crowd was oohing and eyeing after that one. Ledger Walker, she is a magician with the ball.
How much fun is she having being a Bruin this season? And you know the appreciation is mutually strong. Poffenbarger off one leg, leaves it short, and the rebound snatched away by Hawkes. She's gonna barrel into the paint, a tough take, and right there Sienna Betts on the putback. It continues for the UCLA Bruins. They're shooting on 65% from the floor.
And some real positive moments for Sienna Betts, who, as Coach Corey Close said, you know, she's going through the rough patches of being a freshman. Some nice buckets here, some rebounds, some assists.
10 to shoot for the Terrapins. That shot doesn't fall from Mir McLean, getting her first action today. She started a couple games this season. She's one of the most senior members of this squad. Ledger Walker, couple dribble pull-up off target. Poffenbarger can play basically 1 through 5 for this team. And Coach Freeze is going to call a timeout. The Bruins leading by 30 with 3:44 to go. This is the upcoming schedule for UCLA. Purdue, then they'll make a swing through Illinois.
35% on the season. So this UCLA offense has just been pristine.
And they're doing it every single game. Just one loss this season to a Texas team that itself is eyeing a Final Four. But Big Ten opponents have not been able to match the Bruins. That pass gets away from Mack, tries to keep it in play, but it will be an over-back violation.
And that time UCLA experiments with a little bit of zone, and even the zone is commanding and forces a Maryland turnover.
If you've got this kind of leeway with this kind of lead, why not try and experiment with your lineups, with different kind of looks that you might need to use later on this season and into the postseason? Yeah,
we're seeing Coach Close give some of her younger post players extended minutes here, and Sienna Betts, as her big sister Lauren, has been on the bench, I think, this entire 4th quarter, and then Amanda Muse out there as well.
Angela Dugalich, a patient post move. She can score inside and outside. Just seen her versatility bloom this season.
And now she's guarding the point guard and nearly takes the cookies, forces a turnover. That is why she too is being projected as maybe a first rounder in the WNBA draft.
Every game, Coach Close does what she calls the good tape, where the players are able to watch the good things that happen, celebrate each other, pump each other up. It's a small thing, but I feel like that play might end up on that reel because of the way Dugalich can guard on the perimeter, and she forced the turnover against the point guard.
Players probably wish they could do a good tape. Only Dugalich having herself a moment right now, but the bad tape, those ones are tough to see.
But necessary.
Necessary for growth.
UCLA forces another turnover. Dugalich sprinting ahead, but snatching it away is Kanawa with the steal.
Kanawa giving us shades of the NFL playoff game coming up.
Looking like a defensive back there. And then that's the mid-range. Three is good for Sienna Betts. She points right to her head coach, Corey Close. Her first triple She had been 0 for 2 this season.
Corey Close has actually told us earlier this season she thinks Sienna Betts is ahead of where Lauren was at this time. Lucia Kanawa, we said it, you have to respect how she is continuing to fight for this Maryland team.
Kanawa up to 25 points, her career high 34 coming this season. Offensive foul is going to go on Ledger Walker. And that will be her third.
Sienna Betts, a couple inches shorter than her sister Lauren. She's 6'4", but she's got some perimeter skills. Draining the triple. That's the smile that Coach Close likes to see. She said Sienna is really hard on herself, so this has to be a really good confidence boost game for her, and you just heard that crowd going wild. That was for a couple of the starters going out. Charlize Ledger Walker has had a monster game. She got applauded loudly.
If I was at the post-game press conference, I'd be asking about that interaction. I wonder if Coach Close challenged her freshmen. Go get a three. Go do something to get yourself out of your comfort zone. I know you can do it.
And she's been perfect from the floor. 9 points on 3 of 3 shooting for the freshman Betts.
6 rebounds, 3 assists as well. An all-around game. 1:10 to go. And here's Dugalich. UCLA with 13 triples this afternoon. That ties a season high for the squad. And another block. Look at Amanda Muse stepping in for Lauren Betts on the interior.
Add it to the good reel for tomorrow's film session. She's going to be all over that good reel.
There's too much to choose from up and down this lineup, kid. 10 to shoot for the Bruins, looking to make it 11 straight wins, 7-0 in Big Ten play, 17-1 overall, and they are nearing 100 points.
And Sloan, we've seen a lot of players coming in. Unfortunately, we haven't seen Megan Grant, the 2-star sensation, because she has softball team responsibilities today.
Unfortunately, she does have pretty high softball aspirations. She could be a first-team All-American, Big Ten Player of the Year, set the Big Ten single-season record with 26 home runs. Here is Kiki Betts. This entire game has been a home run for UCLA. 30 seconds to go.
If Kiki Rice gets one more bucket, that would be 6 Bruins in double figures. She's sitting on 8.
Kanawa lost a shoe. There's Mack slicing into the paint and gets that to fall over the outstretched arm of the defense. And now UCLA can wait till it becomes official. Ranked win number 7 for the Bruins. Big Ten win number 7, and in dominant fashion, 99